And I praised God, and I said, you've given me the gift of stubbornness and of curiosity. I think there's more, and I don't know what it is. And I'm not going to go away. I want you to guide me. And it took some time, and I was guided. I had no idea what would lead to Islam. That was beyond my intellectual capacity to conceive. And I think many people who have been drawn to Islam will experience, first of all, an intellectual curiosity, and then another level of calling, which initially is resisted because it is so weird. Weird meaning it is against our culture as an English Western middle class person. You go further into what are these theocratic traditions, and it becomes clear that Judaism and Christianity are narratives. There's the narratives of the lives of the prophets and what happened to them, and their dramas and adventures and so on, and within which is the guidance of great example, and of course inspired the Ten Commandments, are direct commandments of God, of Allah. And we have the life of Isa Salam, the reign of Jesus, a huge example. And every detail of his life is recorded somewhat afterwards in narratives which might contradict one another, but you get a very good gist that this was a man who was seriously different to other people of his time. In Islam, we recognize Jesus as a great prophet. Anyone who thinks that to become a Muslim you have to repudiate Jesus has not understood what Islam is all about. I love the bit in Sahih al-Bukhari. It says, whoever testifies that there is none worthy of being worshipped but God, who has no partner, and that Muhammad is his slave and prophet, and that Jesus is the slave of God, his prophet and his word. Remember, the gospel is his word, which he bestowed in Mary, and the Spirit created from him. And the paradise, heaven is true, and hellfire is true. You believe all of that, God will eventually admit you into paradise according to your deeds. There's that last little bit at the end. But a seriously important prophet of Islam is Ruh al-Islam. He is not an alternative. He is part of our belief. So people coming from Christianity, coming from Judaism, basically it's all the same, but you're getting something more. I was praying all those years ago, I've done all the learning, this isn't quite enough. I've come to Islam, it's too much. It is an ocean, you can drown it. It is huge. If I study to my last hour, and I had permission to give up my work, which the Imams keep telling me I can't do it because this is being Muslim and I've got to keep doing it, but Islam is the true path. And we know that Muhammad is the last prophet. We are guided to Islam. We're lucky. I didn't think my way into Islam. I'm not that bright. And why are we guided? And how are we guided? I would love to have a website. I went on to the internet, it guides our minds. I want a new website, which is how people in the 21st century are guided to Islam. Because there's some remarkable stories, and they're not of our intelligence. But it is very clear in Quran. Allah guides who He wills. This is the most beautiful thing that can ever happen to a seeker in religion. And if there is one treasure you've been given in your life, it is that. And if you lose your health, wealth, family, your culture, your country, it matters nothing, because you've been given the only thing that matters. So, you've said Shahada, you've become a Muslim. Isn't it wonderful? Well, there might be a few problems. Thanks to Mukhtar Holland, we have finally good translations of a number of Islamic texts. But if you think you're going to get teaching as an English person in your local mosque, you probably won't. Because the khutbahs will be in Arabic, in Farsi, in Urdu, and in a lot of languages which are not English. And we have no compulsion in this country to make any teaching to be in English. So you've got to find another way to learn. I thought, arrogantly, that people would sort of like the fact I was a middle-class woman converting to Islam, and I'd be welcomed into communities. I don't want to go into ghastly details, but it's a horror story. Not only have I not been welcomed, I've been insulted, I've been slandered, I've had money taken off me and been told an imam spoke in the middle of the mosque saying I'd stolen money, even when I'm given £25,000. You have to, because you're a Muslim, accept it. And people say, oh, I should be careful about who stole money. I was treasurer of this particular one. So, you need to say, well, why is this happening? It's a very small anomaly of our particular time in England, where we have absorbed a number of immigrants from other countries where their Islamic regimes are either despotic or they have great poverty. So they come to this country for its advantages. But the last thing they want is colonial people muscling in their religion, which they value as, if you like, a badge of identity. So, accept that, leave gently. I've wandered. I've tried to be welcome. And I must end this on a happy note, because this Ramadan, the guys who clean my car in the Harley Street car park knew that I was kind of miserable because I fit in at the back of mosques and do Tarawih prayer, but I, don't really feel welcome, nobody says hello. And the guy said, well, actually, we're just opening a new mosque. So I said, he said, the imam would like to meet you. So I went along thinking this would be a meet and greet, and I'd give a small donation and leave. And I now have a new community. And it's a West African community, and it's in Peckham Rye, and it's a very cheerful, very welcoming group of people. I have never felt so at home in my life, and I'm the only white face there. So, I have met a bunch of seriously lovely people who don't mind about the fact that I'm English, which is the first time in 15 years. So, I'm not saying that I haven't had individual welcomes from people of every single nation and colour in Islam, but I haven't had a group welcome until now. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, even if you have to wait 15 years to get your little community. So what are the other problems about deciding to change your religion? You have to be tender with your family. It may come as a shock to them, because Islam today has got a bad rap. We have the image of Islam in this country as the people who blew us up on 7/7, and we don't like them. We seriously don't like people who blow us up. We're rotten to immigrants. We're awful to the Jews. We were not nice to the Afro-Caribbeans who came over. We expect, because of the example of the Jews and the Afro-Caribbeans, that immigrants take it on the chin, keep themselves quiet, and prove themselves, which indeed those two groups have. Of course Lennox Lewis is English. We wouldn't have it any other way. We don't get a boxing chapter. What did our Muslim colleagues do? They blew us up. English don't like being blown up. So, if you join the group of people who are blowing you up, your friends are going to ask questions. Your family are the first people